Demon Slayer tricked everyone, and the twist that is about to happen will absolutely blow people's minds. The new Hashira training arc of the anime has added brand new content that is not even in the manga, and this is contributing a lot to the story. But anime onlys are being lulled into a false sense of security because the Demon Slayer storyline is about to explode. We're about to get one of the biggest twists in the series, and this will lead us into the best arc in the series with all the best fights and all the most impactful moments. We need to talk about this right now. You guys know the drill. If you enjoy our Demon Slayer content and you want us to keep it going, leave a quick like and comment right now for that YouTube algorithm. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Subscribing on YouTube is completely free, but it helps me out a lot. So if you've been watching the new anime season of Demon Slayer, then you've been watching the Hashira training arc, and you've been seeing a bunch of extended bonus material that wasn't even in the manga. It's all still canon, it just expands on certain storylines that were only glossed over in the manga. In my opinion, this is a good thing because it's actually adding more to the story and the characters, and it feels like a more full experience than reading the manga, because the manga did feel a bit rushed at times, especially in those final arcs. One major theme of the Hashira training arc is that after Nezuko managed to conquer the sun, demon activity seemed to be reduced, leading everyone to wonder what the demons are up to and what Muzan is really planning. The first big hint for what's really going on comes in episode 1 of the new anime season, where we see the Wind Hashira Sanemi and the Serpent Hashira Iguro chasing down demons who seem to be clustered together in large numbers and hiding from the Demon Slayers. One demon manages to escape the hideout while carrying a woman on his back. The two Hashira rescue the woman and they chase the demon to the roof of a tall building and corner him there, but then the demon simply jumps from the roof. Both Hashira follow him and leap down as well, but instead of seeing the ground, they see the inside of a massive medieval Japanese castle that seems to stretch infinitely in all directions. The castle is absolutely crawling with demons of every type, and strangest of all, the walls and rooms of this ancient castle appear to be moving, as if the castle itself is some sort of living, breathing creature. When the two Hashira attempt to enter the castle and attack the demons inside, they are mysteriously thrown out and they find themselves back on the outside. And yet, the demon that they were chasing and all the other demons that they saw are gone. This is not a scene that occurs in the manga. It's an anime-only scene that provides massive clues for what's about to happen next. And this strange moving and disappearing castle is not the only mystery that the latest season of the anime teases. Throughout the season, we also see mysterious magical eyeballs moving around the street and spying on all the various demon slayers, including the Hashira. These demonic eyeballs are directly connected to that strange castle, and it's all part of Muzan's master plan to trap and destroy all the Hashira at once, which would finally allow him to eliminate the entire Demon Slayer Corps after 1,000 years. So let's talk about the Infinity Castle, those strange eyeballs, and the upper moon behind it all, the new upper rank for Nakime. When she was still human, Nakime was a struggling biwa player who was just barely making a living with her music. She was also married to a compulsive gambler who spent all of their hard-earned money on his gambling addiction. One night, when Nakime was supposed to perform on stage, she found out that her husband had stolen her dress and gambled it away. This made Nakime snap. She flew into a fit of rage and ended her husband with a hammer. Only a short time after this incident, she was scheduled to perform. She walked out on stage in an old, worn-out dress, and at first the crowd looked down on her because of her raggedy appearance. This high-pressure situation, combined with the fact that she had just killed her husband in cold blood, made Nakime nervous, and her hands were shaking as she played the biwa. Her nervousness did not ruin Nakime's performance. Instead, she played better than she had ever played before, and the audience loved it and demanded more. Everyone was impressed with Nakime, and she received generous payment for her incredible performance. After this, Nakime realized that the act of killing right before performing made her a much better biwa player, and so she became a serial killer. She would seek out a victim to kill right before every big performance, and every time she did this, she performed extremely well and everyone loved her. She received high praise and generous payment, which encouraged her to continue with her depraved killings. But one day, Nakime chose the worst possible target for her next victim. When looking for someone to kill before a big performance, she decided to target Muzan Kibutsuji. I don't need to tell you how badly Nakime's attempt to kill Muzan failed. And you might think that after she tried to kill him, Muzan would have ended her immediately, but that's not what happened. Muzan was actually quite impressed with Nakime, and especially with her ability to track him down once she decided that he would be her next victim. So instead of killing her, Muzan offered to turn Nakime into a demon. She agreed, and she willingly became a demon and a loyal follower of Muzan. When she became a demon, Nakime developed an extremely powerful and useful blood demon art that plays a massive part in Muzan's plans. And this will also play a huge part in the final arcs of the story, so let's talk about her dark powers right now. Nakime's blood demon art allows her to create an extra dimensional space, kind of like a pocket dimension that seems to have nearly infinite size. This pocket dimension is the giant castle that Sanemi and Iguro saw while chasing that demon, a seemingly endless series of rooms that move around like they were somehow alive. This is the Infinity Castle, and as its creator, Nakime has complete control over this structure. By striking different notes on her biwa, Nakime is able to manipulate and transform the rooms of the castle. She is able to summon creatures into the castle and banish them from it, and she can also make the entrance to the castle appear and disappear in the real world using portals. Nakime sits at the center of the Infinity Castle, and she is very hard to actually reach because the space around her is distorted. She can also shuffle the rooms of the castle around constantly, making it almost impossible for enemies to navigate their way through the building. And she can even weaponize the castle itself by creating big pillars and chucking them at her enemies as they try to approach her. On top of creating and maintaining the Infinity Castle itself, she also has the ability to create a bunch of walking eyes and send them all over Japan to spy on the Hashira and on other persons of interest. So yeah, those creepy eyes that we've been seeing spying on demon slayers throughout the new anime season all belong to Nakime. Nakime is not exactly the best 1v1 fighter, but her abilities are incredibly overpowered and incredibly useful overall, and anyone who finds himself within the Infinity Castle will essentially be at her mercy. As I said earlier, Nakime and her abilities become critically important for Muzan's ultimate master plan during the final arcs of the story. Not only does he use her Infinity Castle as an impenetrable secret demon headquarters, but he also uses her spying abilities to locate the hiding place of the Demon Slayer Corps leader, Kagaya Ubuyashiki. Before Nakime became a demon, Muzan could never locate the Ubuyashiki hideout because the leader of the Demon Slayers was so good at keeping himself hidden. But Nakime's blood demon art changes all that, and her powers lead us into one of the biggest twists in Demon Slayer and the best arc in the entire series. Now, if you want to know more about this twist, and if you're wondering what's about to happen next in the Demon Slayer story, definitely keep watching because I will break it all down for you right now. That said, if you are anime only and you don't want spoilers, this would be the time to click off and go watch another Anime Uproar video. Big spoilers for the finale of the Hashira training arc and the setup of the best arc in the series are coming up right now. The Hashira training arc is actually a big setup for the Infinity Castle arc, and it all comes to a head when Muzan uses Nakime's power to finally track down the secret hideout of Kagaya Ubuyashiki. When Muzan arrives at Kagaya's mansion, he finds the leader of the Demon Slayers in a terrible state. He is bedridden and dying due to a horrible disease. Kagaya is there with his wife and two of his children, which leads Muzan to believe that he must have caught Kagaya by surprise, otherwise he wouldn't have allowed his family to be there with him. Muzan has been trying to hunt down the leaders of the Demon Slayer Corps for 1,000 years, and now that he's finally found the current leader thanks to Nakime, he is disappointed to see that his arch-rival is already in such a sorry state. Muzan mocks Kagaya for already smelling like a corpse. Kagaya tells Muzan that his doctor told him he would die 6 months ago, but he has been clinging to life so desperately because he was driven by the burning desire to finally defeat the Demon King. Kagaya explains to Muzan that the two of them actually come from the same bloodline. Muzan and the Ubuyashiki family were once part of the same clan. Because this clan gave birth to a monster like Muzan, they were cursed, and that is why all of the children born into the house were weak, and why they all seemed to die very young. A priest told the family that if they dedicated themselves to defeating the demon who came from their bloodline, then the bloodline will survive, and so that is what the Ubuyashiki family did. They formed the Demon Slayer Corps and dedicated their lives to atoning for the blight that Muzan had brought upon their bloodline. They vowed to defeat Muzan once and for all. After the Ubuyashiki family became the leaders of the Demon Slayers, their children didn't die as easily as they did before, but even then no one in their clan seemed to live past the age of 30. And that is why Kagaya is suffering from such a strange and debilitating illness even though he's only like 23 years old. He was essentially cursed from birth and fated to die young because of the blight that Muzan's existence brought upon his bloodline. This information doesn't actually leave much of an impact on Muzan himself. He doesn't really care about this secret family connection. All he cares about is eliminating the Demon Slayers and finding Nezuko so that he can consume her and become truly immortal. When he conquers the sun, there will be no way of defeating him, and his dream of true immortality will finally be realized. Kaguya disagrees with Muzan about what immortality actually is. To him, genuine human feelings and bonds are the only things that are eternal. The feelings of everyone who gave their life to defeat Muzan over the years are now coming together within the current Hashira and Demon Slayer generation. And Kaguya believes that their common bond will allow them to finally defeat Muzan. Kaguya says that even if Muzan kills him, this will have no impact on the Demon Slayer Corps as a whole because Kaguya himself is not important. The Demon Slayers are the ones who matter, and the strong feelings and bonds that they develop together will allow them to put a stop to Muzan once and for all. Kaguya then repeats that he himself is not important, but even so, all the other Demon Slayers and all the Hashira are very fond of him. So when he dies at the hands of Muzan, they will be inspired to fight even harder to finally defeat the demon. And as this conversation between Muzan and Kaguya is happening, the Hashira have already been summoned to his mansion and they are already on their way to help. But just as they are about to arrive at the mansion, a massive explosion blows the entire structure and the surrounding area to bits. Kaguya had planned this from the start. He planted a massive amount of explosives inside his mansion, and once Muzan finally arrived, he chose to sacrifice himself and his family in order to blow Muzan's body to bits. And just as Muzan is trying to regenerate from such a devastating attack that practically destroyed his entire body, he is ambushed by Tamayo, who uses a blood demon art to trap him in place with giant black thorns. She then also injects Muzan with a new substance she concocted that is supposed to turn demons back into humans, which, if it works, will make it possible for Muzan to finally be killed. Right after Tamayo, Muzan is also attacked by Gyomei and the other Hashira, and Tanjiro eventually arrives at the scene as well. Finding himself trapped and vulnerable, Muzan decides to drag all of the Demon Slayers who are attacking him into the Infinity Castle, and this marks the beginning of the best arc in the series. The Infinity Castle arc features the greatest battles in the entire series, including the battles against Upper Moon 3 Akaza, Upper Moon 2 Doma, and Upper Moon 1 Kokushibo, among others. Anime onlys are not ready for the greatness that they are about to witness, and even for us manga readers, the anime is likely going to give us a whole bunch of extra material, and it's gonna make this arc even better than it was in the manga. If you're wondering what happens during the amazing battles within the Infinity Castle, and if you're wondering how every single Upper Moon is ultimately defeated, check out this video right now, link on screen and in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys!